Hey everyone, my name's Aishi, and today I'll be talking about emerging markets and why they're becoming central to the future of global business. We're going to be talking about countries that are rapidly developing, not fully industrialized yet, but making big economic and technological leaps. So, what exactly defines an emerging market? These are transitional economies or countries moving towards a developed status. They're typically defined by rapid industrialization, growing middle class populations, and rising global influence in trade, energy, and innovation. Some common characteristics are high growth rates, urbanization, and young, tech savvy populations. In fact, projections show that by 2050, 6 out of the 10 largest economies will be emerging markets, meaning that businesses ignoring them are missing out on a big source of growth. If you look at the chart, you'll notice the trend that emerging markets are outpacing developed ones in terms of GDP growth. So, the big idea is emerging markets aren't just the future, they're already shaping the global economy today. One of the most prominent groups of emerging economies is BRICS, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It was formed in 2009 and South Africa joined in 2010. Together, BRICS nations account for 42% of the global population and around 32% of the global GDP. The original idea behind BRICS was to counterbalance the G7, which represents traditional Western powers. BRICS gives a voice to the emerging nations that want to shape the future of global policies. This slide shows the economic and demographic power of BRICS. If you look at the chart, you'll see how these countries have grown since the 1990s, especially China and India. Their GDPs have skyrocketed due to manufacturing, services, and digital innovation. The map also highlights the massive population base. BRICS countries are home to billions of people, which means billions of potential consumers, workers, and entrepreneurs. That scale gives these countries a unique leverage in global trade and investment negotiations. But of course, no market is perfect, and each BRICS country has distinct strengths and major challenges. Brazil has world leading agricultural exports but faces political instability. Russia has rich oil and gas reserves but is heavily impacted by sanctions and war. India has a booming youth population and tech services but struggles with infrastructure. China is a global manufacturing hub but faces trade tensions and a shrinking workforce. South Africa has minerals and energy potential but high inequality. So BRICS offers huge opportunities, but you also need to manage the risks. Beyond BRICS, there's another group called the Next 11 or N11, a group of emerging economies identified by Goldman Sachs for 11 countries with strong potential for economic growth. These include Vietnam, Bangladesh, Turkey, Mexico, Nigeria, and many more. While smaller than BRICS, these countries are rising fast and attracting global investment, especially in manufacturing, services, and digital startups. They're the next wave of economies to watch. So, what exactly makes these markets attractive to global businesses? First, the large and young populations mean a growing base of consumers. Second, urbanization and rising incomes create demand for products and services. Third, production is cheaper, making it easier to operate. And finally, because many areas are underdeveloped, there's room for businesses to step in and build on infrastructure and services. But these benefits also come with risks. Political and legal uncertainty, current swings, and corruptions can all derail the growth for these markets. Poor infrastructure and unpredictable regulations make it hard for these businesses to operate smoothly. That's why successful companies have to go in with their eyes wide open and think about a flexible, long term strategy that will actually work. So, how do you succeed in these emerging markets, and how can companies do their best? These companies could be new companies or bigger companies that want to expand into these markets. First, localize, which means adapting products to local preferences, like McDonald's vegetarian menu in India. Second, partner with local firms who understand the landscape. Third, know your audience. Most emerging market consumers are price sensitive, mobile first, and community focused. And finally, stay agile. These environments change fast, so companies have to keep up. Here are two great examples of adaptation. First, KFC in India. They introduced items like the chicken biryani bucket, a perfect blend of global brand with local flavor. Second, Starbucks in India. Instead of competing alone, they partnered with Alibaba to build a digital delivery and local trust. Both show how localization and partnerships create a lasting impact. Looking ahead, we're seeing big shifts. BRICS is expanding, adding countries such as Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. These markets are shaping the future of energy, technology, and trade. Instead of a West versus East world, we're moving towards a more multipolar global system with many centers of growth. To wrap up, emerging markets are a strategic opportunity for global businesses, but only if they're ready to take on the challenge. These regions offer fast growth, but require patience, cultural intelligence, and a long-term vision. They offer strategic opportunities for global businesses, but these emerging markets aren't waiting. So these companies have to either adapt or they're missing out. Thank you guys for your time, and I hope you learned something new.